Separating the myth from the manifestation. This is Seen and Unseen. I am Edgar Reck, and today, as always, we cross the line. The topic of exorcisms, dear friends, has many sides: skeptical, Hollywood version, mythical, theoretical, and so on. Various religions have a version of exorcisms. Ancient cultures mention exorcistic practices all the time. And if you look at how people treated demonically possessed people throughout history and cultures, you'd raise your eyebrows in complete shock. Before we move forward, however, it's important to set the stage, and I always like to give this analogy. Take the knife, for example. It can be used to hurt people, make someone bleed, but at the same time, a knife can be used to cut meat and bread and cook an amazing dinner. So, by basic logic, it's not the knife that's evil, it's who uses it and for what purposes. I believe you can already see where I am going with this. Exorcism by itself is not a ridiculous delusional practice. It's how it has been misused and interpreted by Hollywood or those who seek to profit from people's spiritual troubles. So keep that in mind, and let's continue. When we think of exorcisms, we think of a priest in a funny robe, holding a crucifix in his hand and yelling, "In the name of Jesus, come out," to the person who is either levitating or tied to the bed, spitting and swearing. That's the usual image we have. Sometimes, in movies like The Rite, we even see a priest almost physically fighting with a demon. Now, I'm not saying that's not possible during the exorcism, but it's not what an exorcism is. Perhaps it will be strange for you to hear this, but it is not the sprinkling of the holy water. It is not the waving of a crucifix in front of a demonically possessed person. And it's not about saying the magical words, "In the name of Jesus," expecting those words to do the trick. If we see an exorcism like that, then I find it hard to blame people who think exorcism is just a delusional circus act. As you know, guys, and I promise I will not be repeating this all the time, but having spent years studying exorcism and the methodology of exorcism academically, having spent thousands of my own money traveling, learning, and building my own library of exorcism books and ancient texts, I have learned one crucial point in this practice. Exorcism is not about driving the demon out. I know it sounds incredibly crazy, and it goes against everything you see in Hollywood movies, but it is the academic, as well as practical, conclusion that I have arrived to when it comes to the definition of an exorcism. I will repeat it again. Exorcism is not about casting the demon out. And to show you what I mean, allow me to paint the image of what spiritual warfare actually is. In spiritual reality, dear friends, there is no such a thing as an empty ground. Whenever you have time, read the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, verses 43 to 45. It speaks about a demon departing from a quote-unquote house, and after moving around, it comes back and finds the house empty, swept, and put in order. So what does the demon do? It brings 7 more spirits, more evil than itself. And as it says in verse 45, the last state of that person is worse than the first. Another example is from the first epistle of John, chapter 3, verse 10. By this it is evident who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. I can, of course, provide dozens of other examples, but for now, I will not bore you with quotes. You can find detailed analysis in my Seen and Unseen community. The logic is this. In spiritual reality, there is no neutral ground, no gray area. It's either black or it's white. And I know people usually like to say that not everything in life is black or white, and I definitely agree to an extent. But when it comes to spiritual reality, my friends, then a gray color or an empty house or neutral ground simply does not exist. A person is either with God or he is with the devil. His soul can never be an quote-unquote empty house. It's an either-or type of situation. Now, you might be thinking what it has to do with exorcisms and why it's not about casting the demon out. Think of breathing. The way we breathe. You cannot inhale fresh air unless you exhale the old air first, right? A similar thing happens during exorcisms. It's not about who's coming out. Believe it or not, that's the easy part, even though movies make it seem super complicated and dramatic. It's about who's going to take that space afterwards. Once, in my early years of practice, I made a crucial mistake as an exorcist. The exorcism went well, but back then I was not yet fully aware of the substitution logic. After the exorcism went successfully, I let the person go, losing any type of contact with him. What I mean by saying that is that the person, now fully recovered, went back to living his old life without changing a thing, as if nothing happened. Lo and behold, months later, I received a phone call telling me that the person is in a psychiatric clinic. Later, I learned that he went back to his old habits. An interest in numerology and astrology. He did not change his life, not a single bit. And that was entirely my fault as a young exorcist. I did not warn him or instruct him about what would happen if he did not turn to God. To ease your mind, I did meet him again, performed another exorcism. This time it was a more serious and dangerous one, obviously. And later I gave clear instructions what to do next and what not to under any circumstances. I kept checking up on him once a week, and now, years later, he is living his best life at peace with God. The reason I told you this story, dear friends, is because the substitution theory in exorcism is the most important part of the entire concept. It is the exorcism. Without it, a simple practice of casting the demon out simply makes no sense. You can actually cause more damage to a person than good. So when we talk about exorcism, or see them in the movies, we must escape the idea that it is merely a man driving a demon out. I will not bore you with technical analysis of the Deuteronomy 32 worldview, the divine council, how the nations of the world were allotted to the lesser Elohim and who are the lesser Elohim, and how it all connects to exorcisms. You can find detailed analysis of all of those topics in my community. But to put it short, a detailed study of the spiritual realm and how spiritual beings operate in the unseen world teaches us that an exorcism is the exact opposite of what we think it is. It's not a demon being cast out. It's the person being brought back into the hands and family of God. Hence, the logic of substitution, my friends. A possessed person leaves and breaks free from the chains of demons and enters the realm of God, His presence, and His family. That automatically implies changing your life, abandoning sin and sinful practices, and allowing God's Spirit to dwell in you. Even though I will be coming back to this topic in later episodes, allow me to give you a short sneak peek. That is, why exorcists are using the name of Jesus to drive demons out. Dear friends, demons are not afraid of your prayers, rituals, holy water, or crucifixes. They do not fear exorcists, priests, pastors, demonologists. They fear the one in whose name those people come. They fear God. Hence the reason for why demons depart in the first place. Not because an exorcist said a prayer, not because holy water was sprinkled over the host. Far from that. They fear God, who is entering the person, substituting darkness with light. Demons depart because they cannot coexist in the same place, area, or a person as God. That is why, in the very beginning I told you, there is no spiritual neutrality. Demons and God cannot be in the same place at the same time. A person cannot serve both God and Satan. There is even a story about this. A person is sitting on a fence. On one side, there is God, life with God, holiness, and future heaven. On the other side, there is Satan, with all the temptations and glory of the world, and hell awaiting for him down the line. While the man is sitting there on the fence, thinking which side to choose, Satan comes over to him and asks, "What are you doing here, dear friend?" The man replies, "Go away, I haven't chosen a side yet." Satan smiles and replies, "No rush. Keep thinking as long as you need. The fence belongs to me anyway." So, to summarize everything we have covered in this episode, an exorcism is not a ritual performed by special powers to drive a demon out. If we dig deep into demonology, the spiritual realm, and exorcisms in biblical texts and other ancient material, like the Book of Enoch, for example, which I highly recommend reading, then we will learn that the entire concept of exorcism is founded on substitution alone. First part being set free from demonic chains, and the second one inhabited by the Spirit of God. No one can serve two masters. No one can be possessed by both the Spirit of God and a demonic spirit. Making a demon depart is only half of what exorcism stands for. So if the second part is ignored, then casting out a demon can cause much more damage than actual good. So, if someone asked me to put into one sentence what an exorcism is, I'd say it's bringing the person and his soul back to God. Now, as always, my friends, if you are serious about understanding the actual mechanics of exorcism, spiritual warfare, and the reality of the demonic, the door to my seen and unseen community is open. Inside, you can examine real field case studies from my 15 years of research, access step-by-step video modules, and get direct answers from me during our weekly live Q&As. The link is right down in the description below. In our next episode, we are going to look at one of my personally favorite topics, titled Know Your Enemy. I will discuss why demonology and knowledge about demons and Satan matter, why it's must-have knowledge, and how to use it in your day-to-day lives. I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and as for now, we have crossed the line. Keep your eyes open. This was Seen and Unseen, and I will see you in the next episode.